One day, your dog will try to tell you it's time to say goodbye. But the truth is, most owners miss the signs until it's too late. We imagine years of wagging tails, eager paws across the floor, and faithful eyes that greet us every morning. And for a while, we get exactly that: 10 years, 15 years, sometimes even 20. But no matter how long the gift lasts, the day always comes when their body whispers what their heart cannot say. Stay with me a little longer. The most painful part of losing a dog isn't just the empty space they leave behind. It's wondering if you saw the clues, if you comforted them enough, or if you let those quiet signals slip away unnoticed. That's why, in this video, I'll share 10 heartbreaking signs your dog shows at the very end. Because if you love them like family, you cannot afford to miss these moments. So hold your old friend close, and as we walk through these signals together, you'll know exactly how to be there for them right up until the last breath. Let's begin with the very first sign: loss of energy and mobility. One of the first symptoms that a dog is going to die is when their steps begin to slow and the strength you once took for granted seems to slip away. Maybe you notice your old friend stumbling on the kitchen floor, or circling in confusion as if chasing a memory that just won't come back. It's not clumsiness. It's their body whispering to you that the muscles, the nerves, even the mind that once guided them with such confidence are growing tired. Veterinary studies show that senior dogs, much like aging people, can lose more than half of their natural walking speed in their final years. That change can be heartbreaking to watch, especially if you remember the days when they sprinted across the yard without hesitation. But here's the truth: every stumble, every pause, every shaky step is not failure. It's a quiet signal asking you to be their steady ground. You can soften floors with rugs, block off slippery stairs, and guide them gently with your hand. But more than any of that, your presence, your patience is what gives them comfort. When they falter, they aren't asking to run again. They're asking for you to stay close. And as you watch their paws grow unsteady, pay attention to something even quieter. Because after the legs grow weak, the body often begins to lose something else: the warmth that once kept them safe through every season. That change, subtle at first, is the next sign you need to know. Symptom 2: struggles with temperature regulation. After the legs grow weak, another quiet symptom begins to appear: your dog's struggle to stay warm or cool. You might notice them shivering on mornings that never seemed cold before, or panting heavily on days that feel mild to you. This isn't just old age. It's their body's natural thermostat slipping out of tune, the hormones and muscles that once kept them safe no longer responding the way they used to. Think about how often you've seen your dog curl up in a patch of sunlight or move to the cool shade under a tree. In their final chapter, those little movements become more than quirks. They are desperate signals that their body is no longer finding balance on its own. A bed that once seemed comfortable may now feel too cold by night and too hot by afternoon. For you, these signs can be a gift. They are your invitation to step in and provide the comfort their body can't create anymore. A soft blanket on a winter night, a fan in the summer heat, or simply moving their bed away from a draft can mean the world to them. It's not about extending their life at all costs. It's about giving them dignity in the days they have left. And here's something many owners never realize until it's too late. Once a dog starts struggling with body temperature, other changes often follow quickly. One of the most telling is in their relationship with food. If you've ever found their bowl still full at the end of the day, you know exactly what I mean. That fading appetite is the next quiet symptom you cannot ignore. Symptom 3: loss of appetite. Perhaps one of the most painful symptoms that a dog is going to die is when the food bowl no longer excites them. A dog who once rushed to the sound of kibble hitting the dish may now only sniff, take a single bite, and walk away. It's not stubbornness. Often it's because their sense of smell and taste have faded, or because chewing has become painful. Sometimes it's simply the body saying, "I don't need this anymore." Research shows that as organs begin to fail, appetite is one of the first things to disappear. For many families, this moment feels like an alarm bell. They try warming the food to make the aroma stronger, offering softer meals, even adding broth or gentle seasonings. And yes, sometimes these small adjustments tempt them to eat a little longer. But when the end is near, forcing food can cause more harm than comfort. Hospice veterinarians remind us that compassion matters more than calories. This can be incredibly hard to accept, especially when feeding your dog has been one of the most loving daily rituals of your life together. But remember, refusing food is not rejection. It is your dog's quiet way of letting go. Your gift is to honor that choice to keep them comfortable, and to let love replace the spoon. And just as the appetite fades, another symptom often arrives hand in hand. The same dish of water that once emptied quickly may now sit untouched for hours, even days. That fading thirst is the next sign you need to watch for. Symptom 4. Decline in thirst. Not long after food loses its appeal, many families notice something even more unsettling: the water bowl remains full. A dog who once drank happily after a walk now turns away even on a warm day. This fading thirst is more than a quirk. It often means the kidneys and brain are no longer sending the signal to drink, a sign that the body is slowing its work. You might run your hand along their muzzle and find their tongue dry, their gums sticky. These are the subtle but powerful warnings that dehydration is quietly setting in. Some families try offering water by hand, dipping a finger in, and letting their dog lick or mixing water into soft food. Sometimes a gentle sip is all they want, and sometimes it's all they need. Here is the part that weighs heavily on many hearts. When a dog stops drinking, it often means they are closer to their final days. It's not neglect. It's not your failure. It is simply their way of telling you, "I'm ready to rest." Your role is not to push, but to listen. Keep their mouth moist, keep them comfortable, and let your presence speak more than the water bowl ever could. And yet, this change rarely comes alone. As water slips away, so too does something else you will feel in your hands and see in their frame. Their once strong body begins to grow lighter, the muscle and weight melting into memory. That visible weight loss is the next symptom every loving owner must face. Symptom 5. Noticeable weight loss. One of the most heartbreaking symptoms that a dog is going to die is when the weight you once felt in your arms begins to melt away. You run your hand along their back, and where you once felt warmth and muscle, you now feel sharp bones and hollow spaces. Their ribs, once hidden beneath fur and strength, begin to show. It's as if the body itself is slowly disappearing before your eyes. This change isn't just about food or water. In their final weeks, an aging dog's organs can no longer hold on to the good things you offer. Muscles shrink, fat stores vanish, and the body consumes itself just to keep going. Veterinary research has shown that rapid weight loss is one of the clearest indicators that the body is reaching the end of its journey. And yet, many families respond the only way they know how, by trying to give more. Blending food, adding supplements, anything to put back what nature is quietly taking away. But here's the painful truth: force-feeding often causes more discomfort than comfort. At this stage, the kindest act is not to fight nature, but to soften it. Offer small bites if they want them, keep their favorite blanket close, and let your arms replace the weight their body has lost. And as their body grows lighter, another change becomes impossible to ignore. The spark that once pulled them to the door tail wagging and eager for life now begins to fade too. More and more they choose sleep over play, silence over movement. That deep stillness is the next symptom you will see. Symptom 6. Sleeping more, responding less. There comes a moment when the house grows quieter, not because you've changed, but because your dog has. The leash rattles, the treat jar opens your voice, calls their name, and instead of bounding toward you, they stay curled in their bed, barely stirring. This isn't laziness. It's one of the clearest symptoms that a dog is going to die. Their body is saving what little strength remains, choosing long stretches of sleep over the joys that once kept them wide-eyed. It can feel strange, even cruel, when the friend who never left your side now drifts into silence. But in truth, this deep rest is the body's way of preparing for the final chapter. Studies in senior dogs show that energy levels drop sharply in the last stage of life, much like the slowing heartbeat of an aging person. They are not rejecting you. They are simply conserving what is left. Your role here is gentle but powerful. Adjust their position so they don't grow sore. Place a soft hand on their side as they breathe. Let your voice low and steady. Remind them they are not alone, even in dreams. A quiet massage, a whisper of their name, these things reach them deeper than you know. And yet, with this stillness, comes another heartbreaking change. As their body weakens, further control over the simplest functions begins to slip away. The dog who once scratched at the door to be let out may suddenly have accidents right where they sleep. That loss of control is the next painful sign you must be ready to face. Symptom 7. Loss of bladder and bowel control. Perhaps one of the hardest changes for families to witness is when their faithful companion no longer controls when or where they go to the bathroom. A dog who spent years waiting patiently by the door or scratching to be let outside may suddenly soil their bed or leave a puddle right where they rest. It can feel messy, even shocking, but it isn't defiance. It isn't forgetfulness. It is simply that their muscles have grown too weak, and sometimes their tired body cannot rise in time. For many owners, this symptom feels like a painful reversal of roles. The dog who once waited for your approval now depends on your gentleness in their most vulnerable state. The temptation might be to feel frustrated, but remember, accidents are not shame. They are a signal that your dog still trusts you to care for them with the same loyalty they showed you all their life. Soft bedding, absorbent pads, and a warm cloth to keep their fur clean can make these moments less painful for both of you. Speak softly as you help, so they know they are still safe, still loved, even when their body betrays them. But this loss of control often comes with something even more alarming. As organs weaken and the nervous system struggles, the body may tremble or jerk in ways that frighten you to your core. These sudden tremors or even seizures are another sign that the end is drawing near. And as difficult as it is to watch, there are ways you can still bring comfort. That's the next symptom we need to talk about. Symptom 8. Tremors or seizures. Few sights shake a dog owner more deeply than seeing their loyal companion tremble or seize in front of them. A dog who once lay calmly by your feet may suddenly jerk, twitch, or lose control of their body, their eyes distant, their breathing harsh. These tremors aren't random. They are often the result of organs like the liver or kidneys failing, or the brain struggling to keep its balance in the final stretch of life. For families, these moments feel unbearable. You want to stop it, to make it go away. But often, the only thing you can offer is presence. Keeping the room quiet, making sure they don't hurt themselves if their body thrashes, and letting your voice steady the air can be more powerful than you realize. Whisper their name, remind them you are there. Even in their confusion, that calm can cut through the storm. Veterinarians may sometimes prescribe gentle medication to ease these episodes, but the truth remains, when seizures appear near the end, they are a sign the body is losing its final battles. This is when many families face the hardest decision of all, whether love means holding on or letting go. Choosing peace is not giving up. It is giving freedom from suffering. And after the trembling quiets, another symptom often emerges that is just as haunting. The steady rhythm of breath, the sound that marked every moment of life together, begins to change. It may grow heavy, ragged, or pause, as if each inhale is a question. That change in breathing is the next sign you cannot ignore. Symptom 9. Changes in breathing. Perhaps nothing unsettles the heart more than hearing your dog breathe in a way that feels foreign, almost fragile. A chest that once rose and fell with steady strength may now heave with effort, or pant with the mouth wide open even though they haven't moved. Sometimes the breathing slows to long pauses, as if the body is uncertain whether to take the next breath at all. Other times, the rhythm grows rough, each inhale sounding like a struggle, each exhale like a sigh too heavy to carry. These changes are not random. They are often linked to the weakening of the heart and lungs, or to the final fatigue of the body's systems as they shut down. For the family sitting nearby, every sound becomes a question. Was that the last one? Should I prepare myself now? The waiting, the listening can be more painful than silence. In these moments, your presence is everything. Sit close, place your hand gently on their side. Let them feel your calm even when their body feels out of control. If their breathing seems uncomfortable, a veterinarian may suggest medication to ease their struggle. But remember, sometimes your steady touch is the greatest relief of all. And yet, even as breath grows shallow, there is one final change that does not happen in the body, but in the bond you share. Some dogs drift away to find solitude under a favorite tree, while others press closer than ever, refusing to leave your side. This shift in connection, this last expression of love, is the final symptom you may see before goodbye. Symptom 10. Shifts in emotional bond. One of the quietest yet most powerful symptoms that a dog is going to die doesn't show in the body at all, but in the bond you've shared for years. Some dogs, when the end draws near, slip away into solitude. They find a quiet corner, hide under a favorite tree, or curl up in places where they've always felt safe. It's their way of preparing, as if to say, I want to leave on my own terms. Others do the exact opposite. They cling closer than ever, following you from room to room, resting their head on your knee, refusing to let a single moment pass without your presence. Neither choice is wrong. Both are messages, different words for the same truth: I love you, and I'm ready. For some, the brain may be clouded by canine dementia, leaving them confused or distant for moments at a time. But don't mistake that distance for fading love. Their heart still knows you, even if their mind flickers. This final shift is not something you fix. It's something you honor. If they want space, let them rest in peace. If they want closeness, give them your time, your hand, your voice. Because in the end, whether they retreat or reach for you, what they are really asking is simple: stay with me. And when you have walked through all these symptoms, from shaky steps to fading breaths, from lost appetite to this last tender bond, you arrive at the hardest part of all, the moment of goodbye. But even in that heartbreak, there is comfort waiting. That's what we'll reflect on as we close. When we began this journey, I asked a question that weighs on every dog parent's heart. Will I know when it's time to say goodbye? Now, after walking through these 10 symptoms that a dog is going to die, I hope you feel less alone with that fear. Every stumble, every fading breath, every quiet change is not just a warning of the end. It is your dog's way of speaking to you, asking for comfort in the same way they have comforted you all their life. Remember, love has never been about keeping them alive at all costs. Love has always been about dignity, about peace, about holding them close enough to feel safe, even in their final moments. The guilt that so many of us carry, wondering if we waited too long or acted too soon, is heavy. But you should know this: the very fact that you worry means you cared enough. And for your dog, that was always enough. Across thousands of families, research shows that most people choose to say goodbye, not out of weakness, but out of compassion, to spare their faithful friend from pain they no longer deserve to carry. If you are facing that choice, remember, letting them go is not giving up. It is giving them peace. And when the silence finally comes, the love does not end. For many, the memory of their dog is what carries them forward, what reminds them of joy in the middle of grief. Some even believe our dogs wait for us at the Rainbow Bridge, whole again, tails wagging, ready to walk by our side once more. Whether or not you hold that belief, the truth remains: the bond never disappears. It simply changes form. Now I'd love to hear your story. Tell me about the good boy or good girl who touched your life. Share their name, their quirks, the love you still carry in your heart. By sharing, we remind each other that grief is lighter when it's held together. And if this video has given you comfort, I invite you to stay with us. Subscribe to this channel so you don't miss the next conversation, because together we can keep honoring our dogs, learning from them, and holding their love close, even when they're gone.